Jalen Hurts, people. Jalen Hurts has a pretty big opportunity in front of him that a lot of people may not realize. A lot of people may not understand. But Jalen Hurts is a very young quarterback. Jalen Hurts is only 26 years old, people. But for some odd reason, it feels like he's been in the league for like 10 years. It's crazy, isn't it? It seems like he's been in the league for like 10 years. I swear it does. But he's only been in the league for 4 years. He's only been in the league for 4 years. And let's just look at his 4 years in the league, right? His first year, he played in 15 games, but he only started 4. He went 1-3, right? His second year, he played 15 games. He started 15 games. He went 8-7. Threw 3,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 87.2 passer rating, 784 rushing yards. His third year in the league, he played 15 games. He started 15 games. He went 14-1, 3,700 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 101.5 passer rating, 760 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. It's amazing. His fourth year in the league, he played 17 games, started 17 games, went 11-6. Threw for 3,800 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 89.1 passer rating, 605 rushing yards. He played in 5 postseason games. And his record is 2-3. And he made it to the Super Bowl. And he's only 26. But the interesting thing, well, let's just run off his career statistics as well. Career-wise, touchdown to interception ratio, 67 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, already over 11,000 passing yards. Career passer rating at 91.1. Rushing yards, over 2,500. Rushing touchdowns, 41. Second team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler. College football national champion, Burt Bell Award. Big 12 Offensive Newcomer of the Year. First team All-Big 12. First team All-SEC. SEC Offensive Player of the Year. SEC Freshman of the Year. He holds 2 NFL records. Most rushing touchdowns in a season by a quarterback, 15, tied. Most rushing touchdowns in a postseason game by a quarterback with 3. Here's the thing about Jalen Hurts, people. Jalen Hurts was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. Jalen Hurts went to Alabama from 2016 to 2018, and he lost his job in a championship game to Tua Tagovailoa. And Tua Tagovailoa led Alabama to the championship win. And Jalen Hurts was benched. And Jalen Hurts decided, okay, I'm not going to allow my college career to be ended here. I'm going to go somewhere else and see what I can do in a new environment where I'm the starter again. And I learned from the mistakes I made. So he goes to Oklahoma for 1 year in 2019. And in that year, in 2019, he went nuts. I mean, he went completely nuts, let's be honest. And that 1 year in 2019, he played 14 games. He started 14. He threw for over 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. So he had a monster year. A monster year at Oklahoma. Oklahoma. And then he went in the draft. He went in the NFL draft. Now, I was always a fan of him after he departed from Alabama and went to Oklahoma. I said to myself, man, The Lions, because remember, this was the 2020 draft. I said, man, the Lions got to get Jalen Hurts. But, of course, he went in the second round, pick number 53, to the Philadelphia Eagles. And at the time, they had Carson Wentz. And this is Carson Wentz coming off of an injury. You know, a devastating knee injury. I believe it was a torn ACL. Philly went on to win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles at quarterback. Carson Wentz was never the same after that. And I believe it was more so psyche than it was his body wasn't the same. But nevertheless, Philly's brass, I believe, knew that. And what ended up happening was they took Jalen Hurts in the second round. And Jalen Hurts showed them that he had it. He was dialed in and had it more than Carson Wentz. And he was younger. And they went with Jalen Hurts. And the rest was history in terms of the accomplishments and the growth he was able to obtain as a player. The hurdles and obstacles he was able to overcome. See, this is a guy, and he led the team to the Super Bowl. See, this is a guy that you got to really think about this, right? As his career continues, fear is no longer an option for him. He faced Tom Brady in the playoffs and lost. Let's take it back to college. He played for one of the most prestigious teams in college football for one of the greatest college football coaches ever, right? And Nick Saban. He lost his job in a championship game to somebody that's not better than him, but he lost his job and had to watch that quarterback lead the team to a championship victory and then take his job the next season, where he had to leave and go reinvent himself on another team. Then he didn't get drafted as a first-round pick, which I'm pretty sure his whole dream growing up was to be a first-round pick quarterback, and that didn't happen. So he dropped to the second round, and he went to an environment that was coming off of a recent Super Bowl championship with Hall of Famers and nothing but veterans in the locker room, bagging up a quarterback who already proved himself in the city, a city that is big on sports and supporting their sports teams. And he went to that situation and found out and worked his way into being the leader and the quarterback of that team. And his weapons weren't very good, but he still managed to get them to the playoffs, where he went up against Tom Brady, a legend, and he lost. And he had to bounce back from that, and he came back from that, had a good year, and then he went to the Super Bowl, and he did everything he could in the Super Bowl right, put the team on his back. He went up against a demigod in Patrick Mahomes. So listen, the thing with Jalen Hurts is, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, if the ship goes down with this team, it's not going to be because Jalen Hurts was the problem. Because Jalen Hurts has seen, you know, a great poet once said, just peep this, right? I swear it's some of the flights I've heard. He said, being this is nothing, I done seen every kind of sewer. And I love to learn it and became a connoisseur. Jalen Hurts done seen everything. He done seen every type of obstacle where you would think he wouldn't be able to overcome, or the things that would damage a man in terms of sports and the psyche of a man. He's seen it all. He's seen it all. So there's nowhere to go but up for him in terms of accomplishments and triumph. There's nowhere to go but up. He done seen every type of failure on every level, from college to the NFL. So there's nothing that can happen that can break this guy going forward. And here's the crazy thing about this, Philly. He's only 26 years old. So you got another possible 15 years of this kid, and you see how he carry himself. This isn't just a 26-year-old young man. This is a 26-year-old man, people. This is a 26-year-old man. He done seen every type of failure. He done seen every type of obstacle. He done been through every type of obstacle course. And he only 26. It's nothing that the sports world can show him now that he hasn't already seen in his young career. He only been in the league 4 years, and he done seen everything. He done seen his team collapse. He done been to the Super Bowl and lost. He done been to the playoffs and lost to one of the greatest ever. He lost to the greatest ever in the Super Bowl. He's had legends on his team. He's had the best offensive line. He had some of the worst receivers to now having the best receivers or two of the best receivers. Listen, people, I wouldn't be worried about Jalen Hurts. His talent, first of all, his talent overall gets him over the top easily. His talent is never going to be a problem or never be an issue. You're never going to have to worry about that. And just him mentally, you're never going to have to worry about that either. This man is a dual threat quarterback with the maturity level of a 60-year-old man that has experienced life to the fullest. That's the type of quarterback you want leading your organization. That's the type of quarterback you want to stand behind. That's the type of man you want to get behind, a man's man. That's what Jalen Hurts is. And nothing in the professional football league, the National Football League, is going to stop him from getting a Super Bowl championship. I guarantee you in the next 5 years, Philly wins at least one, if not two, Super Bowl rings while Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. I guarantee you that. Jalen Hurts is going to go down in Philly as bigger, if not bigger, than Allen Iverson. And you heard it here first, Philly. Yeah, I know that's crazy. Y'all produce a lot of stars. But trust me, Jalen Hurts is going to be legendary in that city because he going to deliver a championship, and it's going to come on one of the most historic runs that you have ever seen in the National Football League. In those playoff games, when he put the team on his back, it's going to be a thing of legends when you talk about it to your kids and your grandkids, telling them how legendary and iconic Jalen Hurts was in the city of Philadelphia.